Hi. Hi, I'm streaming on a couple of services. My name is Katie. I'm so happy you're here. I really am. And the only plan I have for today is to share with you some of these foundational concepts and practices in Tantric Yin. Tantric Yin is the best descriptor I have for my approach to somatics or embodiment when the intention is to release stress, tension, pain, or at least to be able to be in a more friendly, affirming relationship with it. And the idea generally is you're working short of your full range of motion. So if you can open your arms this wide, in Tantric Yin, it might just be here. And the reason for that is some of these shapes we hold for a little bit longer than a couple of breaths. So it's about where you can stay more than it's about how far can you go. Thank you. She's been very bothersome today, so we'll see how she does. That's Darla. You need to breathe. If you live with chronic pain, as I live with chronic pain, and many people live with chronic pain, the arousal that you're most likely to experience first is the arousal of that sensation. It might increase as we're moving through our time together today. And so I encourage you to approach that with kindness and gentleness, and perhaps considering not increasing that unpleasant sensation. That whatever sensation or arousal awareness you have is something that you're able to be with. I call it capacity. Right? This has a certain capacity. If I try to put more in it than it has capacity for, things happen. A mess happens. For props, I have a block. You could also use, this is a yoga blanket, but you could also use a towel or some other blanket. A strap. Today, this is a, what's this from? Bathrobe. Doesn't need to be fancy or special. And last, a pillow. So you don't need fancy equipment if you don't have any. Your choices, now that you're here and hopefully sharing this if you're on the tiki-tack and just enjoying some of this preamble here on other streams. You can be on the floor. You could also do this on your bed if you'd prefer to be on a softer surface. I find that especially lovely for folks who live with like knee pain and ankle pain, or just if you have mobility stuff with getting up and down off the ground. Everything I share is an invitation. You are free to reject it and say, no, thank you. Yeah, I think that's about it. So let's get started. In a sitting position, my body does this super easy. Yours might not. So here are some options for sitting. You can make a big seat for yourself, literally. Just prop up under your bum. And then if the crossing doesn't feel good, you can sit this way. You can sit this way. Whatever up means. If you're in your bed and you need support behind you, you could even be by your wall. And we're going to get started. So here you are, a little bit upright. Letting your breath be however it is. So it can be through your nose, through your mouth, deep or shallow, fast, slow, any way your breath shows up is the right way right now. And as you begin to find a little bit more awareness of breath, a little bit more connection, a little bit more I'm breathing, we'll do 3 breaths in through the nose and out of the mouth with a ha sound, and I will tone on our exhales. So take a breath in and out. Inhale. One more, breathe in and out. My eyes close when I practice this way. If your eyes prefer to stay open, please keep them open. And so from whatever more upright position you're in right now, can you scoot a little bit side to side and just notice the surface that you're on and what parts of you are being held by the surface. So the way I'm sitting right now, my sits bones are on a surface, my shins are on a surface, and the tops of my feet. If your legs are crossed, it'll be a little bit different. So a lot of embodiment for folks who experience dysregulation of the nervous system, I'm pointing to myself as one, those of us with different kinds of neurodivergencies or trauma can be really weird. And just start by noticing where you are. Like, oh, I'm in a room. Okay, I'm on a surface. And wherever you are, just start to sway a little bit, gentle, gentle. So that the body is doing your movement and your head is gently, lightly, without force or whiplash, just like super smooth, swaying side to side. And then as you find whatever center is for you right now, just like wherever you can be for a moment. I tend to conduct with this hand. You don't need to be moving it. Come to center. Bring your hands to your belly, or just think about your belly if you don't like touching it, and send it a smile, like a literal, actual smile. If you'd like to hold an intent with this, it's positive regard. It's not even withholding judgment, it's just, I regard that positively. In the system I'm in, this is called a Dantian. This is one of the main energy centers. And Dantian in Tao are like bowls, they're vessels. So it's mapping the energy body. We're smiling. Coming to your heart, smiling to your heart, the actual beating muscle in your chest. Positive regard. So you might even say to yourself, peace, compassion, kindness, positive regard to your head. So this is the third energy center. Imagine that you're smiling to all of the glands in your brain, pineal, pituitary, master glands, positive regard. Let that soften a bit. Take a breath in through your nose and out of your mouth with ha. Just coming back to your breath. So moving into constructive rest position. For constructive rest, you'll lie down on your back. Bend your knees and bring your feet to the surface that you're on. Grab your strap, your belt, your yoga mat, yoga strap if you have one. And so constructive rest is with your knees bent, feet down, arms down, and then receiving support. So if you're on the ground, notice if you're able to get a sense of the weight being about similar or the same between your two sides, right and left. If you're on a soft surface, it's going to have a different relationship to gravity because it'll be more like a cushion. So just notice. This noticing without judging, without defining, without anything other than, oh, there it is. Letting your breath be any way it wants to be. So keeping your body where it is, turn your chin to one side and tuck it in. So I'm turning away from you for this. Notice how my back is pretty much still where it was. It's just my head that has turned. And you're looking for rotation and sensation that you can be with. Where can you stay? From here, so the same direction your head is turning, take that arm, cross it over your upper chest. So it's above the tissue on my chest. One more option, if you'd like, is to take the other hand to the upper arm that's crossed over, and without any force, just a little bit of a hello, you can encourage it across, maybe feel a little bit more sensation, and then you get to decide how much sensation is the right amount of sensation for you today. And these choices that we make in Tantric Yin set us up to be able to make choices when we're with other people in a body-based moment. Just breathing nice and easy here with whatever expression of this shape you've chosen today. And then we come out the way we went in. So let go of your arm. Bring it to the side. So it's just like going in reverse. Bring your head to center. Take a breath. It might feel a little bit different one side to the next. So coming to the other side, turn your chin, tuck it in, take a couple breaths. As you're here, as we're here paying attention to the upper body, this shape, constructive rest position, is also telling your psoas muscle, that stress muscle, the muscle of fight or flight, it's saying, hey man, it's cool. You can chill for a little bit right now if you want. The science says different words, but that's how I understand it. Take this hand, same arm, we're going to cross it over. If any of this is too much sensation, not available, seems weird, don't do it. Or make it your own. Tim Gunn that shit, man. Make it work. And then here's that opposite hand to the upper arm. Again, adding some sensation if it feels like a good thing to do today, right now, in this moment. A couple more breaths here. And then letting your self come out, head comes to center. And take a moment. Interlace your fingers and hold your head in your hands. If this isn't available, you can take your towel or your blanket and hold yourself this way. And so it's just a little bit of traction. So you're not trying to pull your head off, okay? But bringing it nice and tight by your cranium. You can see I'm sort of just tucking my chin in. I am holding my head with my arms. And that little tuck, this rounded in the upper back, you can start to slowly come side to side. Now your body's going to hold you steady as you do this, so your core's probably going to turn on a little bit. And then bring that back down. And now, maybe a little bit more connection between the back line of the body and the ground. This is tick-tocking the legs, so separating the feet a little bit more than hip width apart. If you're on a yoga mat, it's going to be about mat width apart. And the tick-tock is to come side to side. You'll see my feet respond, and the soles of my feet are exposed to the air as my legs move. Now a yin approach would say, how slow can I go without force? And then it would also, a yin approach would say that it's almost like the movement is happening from the inside out, like it emerges slowly rather than explodes like a pimple. Whatever that means for you. And so the next time your knees come to one side, I'm going to let them hang out there, not necessarily all the way into a twist. This might feel uncomfortable for some knees. Poof is very useful here. This is what I have to hand. So you could, almost like when you're sleeping, yeah? And so this just gives you something to rest on as we're in this shape. So the side where my knees are facing, that hip is all the way down on the ground, and then this other side here is just in a little bit of a moment, a little bit of a stretch. And the feeling that you're looking for, the sensation that you're looking for is the one you can stay with. Come into center. You can let your knees come over to the other side. So again, not necessarily how far can you go, but more where can you stay. Notice this knee is up in the air, so it's really this little bit of a moment here for the side. If you need to adjust, move, change, go ahead and do that. The degree that you're able to do so as a response to what's happening rather than a reaction, and that is a subtle difference that will have different meaning to you over time. Coming back into center. Take the palms of your hands, the heels of your hands, put them right where your thighs grow out of your torso, or you can just bring your hands to your thighs if you can reach it. If you can't, give me a moment. So if you can bring your hands to your thighs, keeping your feet where they are, I'm going to press on my thighs enough to bring some traction into my spine. So as I'm pressing, a little bit of a tuck here in the tailbone so that the low back is connecting. If this feels uncomfortable or is too much of a reach, you could take knock knee pose just by bringing your knees in. So a couple breaths here. Ease on out of that, take a nice big long stretch. So we're going to start coming into these energy practices with the Dantian, those 3 energy centers that we smile to, and do some breaths that are meant to balance your emotions and are the foundational practices for Tantra within this system. So to sit back up, come onto your side. And then press yourself up to a seat. Again, whatever sit means for you today, it feels good. So this will be my seat today. The general pattern is smile to an organ, breathe in an affirming emotion, breathe out an emotion we might not want to have, and you make a sound on the exhale. Just very simple, simple, simple. So the first sound is for your lungs. So if you smile to your lungs, that's what's helping you breathe right now. You don't even need to know really where they are, but they're kind of behind all of these organs here in your front. So if you think about behind your back ribs and smile there, inside. The emotions are courage and grief, and the sound is S. So breathing in courage and letting go of grief with 2 more just like that. Breathe in courage, exhale grief. One more, breathe in courage. Exhaling grief with that S sound. Take a breath. Smile to your kidneys, your adrenal glands. This is the seat of shock, of fear, of surprise, and calm and gentleness. And the sound is chu, C-H-O-O-O-O-O-O-O. So breathing in calm and letting go of fear with chu. All the while sending positive regard towards your kidneys. Inhale calm. Exhale fear with chu. One more. Breathing in calm. Let go of fear and shock. Take a breath. Next is your liver. That is on your right side. Depending on what you're looking at right now, I might be on my right side or my left, because one of these is going to invert. But the sound is shh, like you're asking someone to be quiet. And the emotions are anger and forgiveness. So inhaling to forgive, exhaling anger with shh. If you're in the US, your right side is the passenger side. Take a breath in, letting go of anger. Shh. One more, inhaling to forgive, exhaling anger. Take a breath. If your legs are crossed, you can go ahead and switch the cross. Next is your heart, the literal, actual beating muscle in your chest. This is love and hate. The sound is ha. So breathing in love, letting go of hatred with ha. Inhale, exhale. One more, breathing in love and letting go of hatred, animosity with ha. Nice easy breath. Fifth sound for the organ pairing is spleen. Spleen is connected to stomach. This is worry, this is rumination, this is like intrusive thoughts. And so the balance is trust or faith, however you understand that. The sound is like an owl in the distance. So breathing in trust, letting go of worry. Inhale. One more, breathe in. Exhale. Back to your smile. Take a nice easy breath. If you gently bring the tip of your tongue to that ridge behind your upper teeth, just right where you are, and smile. This is an introduction to the microcosmic orbit. So you don't need to do anything other than have that connection and a little bit of a smile inside, positive regard to self. So coming up onto your hands and knees for tabletop. So your knees are under your hips and your hands are under your shoulders. If this is uncomfortable or if it feels unavailable, you could make fists out of your hands and rest onto your knuckles. Sometimes that's a little bit easier for some wrists. You could also, especially for my arthritis friends, give yourself something soft for your hands. And then this is cat and cow, yin style. So dropping your belly down and lift your chest. We'll hold this for a moment. You're looking for a stretching sensation on the front line of your body, from like belly, chin, chest, neck. And then coming into cat, tuck your chin, round your spine, and pushing on the ground a little bit. Now I'm looking for a stretch on my back. You'll notice this arm carries a permanent injury, so I'm being a little bit gentle with it, and that's okay. Dropping your belly, lift your chest. This will start to move with your breath. This is your inhale, and here's your exhale. How fast do you move? How slow can you breathe? So yin is about the approach, and how yin works for you, for your body mind, depends on your body mind. So you can make this fluid, just kind of moving around. This is reminding my spine that it's connected from the crown of the head all the way through the tailbone. Child's pose is next. So if you just separate your knees a little bit wider than your ribs and lie back. If this is available, you'll stay here. If your knees have a different idea, there are a couple of options for giving them some extra support. So depending on how it is uncomfortable, you can bring your knees to something soft in front. For some folks though, having this behind the knees is going to feel a little bit better. So you can see, like, you just experiment. And some of you are going to have knees that say absolutely not, no way. So you'll just sit this one out and get down onto your belly. So as you're here, a yin approach would be to take that reach out of your arms and instead invite breath. It's to let your belly soften and be big and hang down. So one of the aspects of yin yoga, if we approach it through a Taoist lens, especially the esoteric Taoists, keep your hips back, move your upper body to one side. So thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, I just got a cramp, so you'll do that. Thousands of years ago, a bunch of people figured out, they're not the only ones, of course, that the most powerful force that we have, the most powerful energy that we have in us, in the universe, is the energy of creation. Come through center, you might think of it as arousal energy over to the other side. Am I suggesting that all arousal is meant to be connected through intimacy? Absolutely not. And that energy of the O, that is the energy that makes more life, literally, right? So as much as we're able to be in a mindful and friendly relationship with arousal energy, come onto your belly. We can be in a place of a little bit more choice over what we do with it, how we share it, whether or not we display it, and for self-healing, which is what I think the coolest part of it is. So you're on your belly, make a pillow with your hands, rest your forehead on your hands. And as you're breathing here, you'll feel your belly press down onto whatever surface is holding you, whether it's the softness of your bed or the solidness of your floor. A couple of moments here for your shoulders if this is uncomfortable, you're not going to do it, especially from a rotation perspective. So bring one arm all the way flat down to wherever you are. That might be enough, especially if you've got shoulder tenderness or injuries. Option. So this is this hand, opposite foot. This only works because it's comfortable for me to rotate. If this was not comfortable, you're going to do less. And then just take a couple beats here, just a couple breaths. And back into center. Bring your other arm out. And if you'd like, you can turn. Remember, yin is not about how far you can go, it's just about where you can stay. And the tantric aspect has to do with connection, not necessarily date-night. I mean, it can, it doesn't have to. Coming back down onto your belly. This is Sphinx pose. This is a back bend. So from your belly, prop yourself up onto your forearms. And we're going to be lazy, languid, and low. I say lazy because you don't have to hold yourself up for yin. You just kind of soften. Do you see how my shoulders at my ears when I let my chest relax? The farther forward your chin is, the more stretch on the back of your neck. If you spend a great deal of time in that position of looking at your phone, this might not feel so great. So you could experiment with bringing the chin up a little bit. And as much as you're able to let your legs relax and your seat relax. So you might feel a little bit of sensation in your low back. Ask yourself, can I stay here? Or do I need to chill a little bit? If you need to chill a little bit, you do less pose. So one of the main elements in this tantric system is water, in that, if you recall back when I had invited you to bring the tip of your tongue to that ridge behind your upper teeth and just smile, that microcosmic orbit is sometimes called a water wheel. And as you're here in this back bend, if you notice maybe heat, sensation, activation rising, elementally, from a metaphor perspective, it would be as though you're heating up water to boil. And just as steam rises and condenses into clouds, it falls down in rain. If you'd like to increase the sensation and you're like, yeah, I got this, I can stay here for a little bit more, bring your palms down, press yourself up on your arms. Now this is seal pose. You can see I move my blanket out of the way because it can be slippy. How far can you go? The more lifted your chest is, the more sensation. So can you stay with it? Or you just kind of here? A little bit more relaxed. breathing. If your breath becomes labored, that would be a signal to do a little bit less. Right? Be a little bit more gentle, more soft, more slow. And down onto your belly, make a pillow with your hands, rest your forehead on your hands. If you'd like, you can bend your knees and tick-tock your legs a little bit. If you're on a soft surface, be mindful that you're not rolling. The idea here is to pay a little bit of attention to your low back and just see how it's feeling. Relaxing out of that. Flip over on your back like a pancake. Grab your pillow. A block is fine. I think something softer is probably going to be a little bit more comfy right now for you. And slide it underneath your tailbone. This is supported bridge. Tailbone is the flat bone underneath your waistband. And so it's just a little bit of a lift. I can do a big back bend, but this is yin. This is where I can stay. So you can add to this, you can add height that'll increase the back bend, it'll increase the sensation, but it might also increase the activation or arousal to a level where you're not able or even wanting to be with that much, so you can back off. And again, this cultivates intelligence, like our own intelligence that we have in the body, to connect it with the mind, with our awareness, so that if and when you do choose to slow dance with someone, you've got some practice as to like, what does it feel when stuff comes up? How do I relate to it? If this feels unavailable, you can come back into constructive rest position, which would be just letting go of whatever's underneath you. There are some options here. One nice one is to straighten your legs, and notice how my feet have sort of turned out. So this is going to relax and lengthen into your hip flexors and psoas. This might feel great, it might feel not great. If it feels not great, do something else. And then you can increase that lengthening by bringing your arms overhead. Again, where can you stay? Just letting gravity and the shape that you're in do the work. And so the effort is to stay as still as quiet, or more still and more quiet. That's the effort. And then from there, can you relax? Slow, steady breath, any way the breath wants to be. If you need something to think about, when you notice that your mind has wandered, bring it back to your body, back to where you physically are located. You can look around or feel around, notice. There's the breath. And then maybe you can connecting back in. Notice if your legs are trying to hold this shape. See if you can let your muscles relax, let your belly relax a little bit. And if it becomes too intense or too uncomfortable, just slide out whatever you're on and come onto your back, and we'll be there with you. I'll be there with you in a moment. Starting to make your way out of this. If your arms are above your head, bring them down. If your legs have elongated, bend them. And then you can lift your seat up, slide whatever's underneath you out. This is reclining butterfly pose. So bringing your feet together, let your knees open like a book. If your legs, hips don't just like mine, because I'm hypermobile, this is not actually anything to be proud of, you can put something under your knees. And for those of us who are hypermobile, I think it's always nice to offer some support just so that this opening is being encouraged by gravity and not just by like slack tissue. If you've experienced unsettling events in the lower part of your body, doesn't matter what, you could have fallen, I broke my tailbone when I was a kid. This can bring up sensation and sometimes emotion. I've noticed, especially on TikTok, people making all kinds of promises about releasing trauma. And I'm just here to share that, in my opinion, if you're intending to release trauma without a container, meaning you've done some prep work, you've got some aftercare set up, ideally you have a guide, just do a little bit less. It's like, how shall I say, it's to be able to have the container to be with that release. The trauma term would be that you're working within your window of tolerance. So yeah, stuff might happen and it's okay if it doesn't. And if you're meaning for it to happen, I just encourage you to ask yourself, like, am I in a context where this is wise for me to do? I can't answer that for you. I just think it's an important question. Those who have had pelvic injuries, and also hip replacements. I've seen clients over the years have success with increasing range of motion with these kinds of passive supported holds. And of course this will increase range of motion for other activities as well if you're interested in splits and such. Couple more breaths here. To come out of this shape, bring your hands to your legs if they reach, and use your arms to help bring your knees in together. And that way your legs can stay relaxed. Again, if you have the reach, you'll bring your hands to your knees. These are knee circles. You could also grab behind your legs. You could move your legs without your hands. You just have that moment for your hips. So these are going to be slow. They're going to be mindful. And you're noticing. Just literally, like I'm noticing a little bit of a pinch in my right hip. I'm noticing numbness in this hand from neuropathy. I'm going to turn a little bit to the side so you can see this next shape. This is figure 4 back release. If you like pigeon, go ahead and find pigeon on the right. I'm going to cue for this. I'm going to use this altar as though it's a wall, because you can do figure 4 against a wall. So, against the wall, my feet are on the wall, I'm on the ground. You see, I just moved myself away. Here we go. Okay. So it's almost like I'm sitting in a chair, yeah? Cross one ankle over your thigh. If you're not using a wall, your foot's going to be on the ground here. There is a hole here. There is an arm here. You might be able to thread your arm through that hole and then interlacing your hands behind your other thigh. That's a lot of steps. This is fewer steps. You can increase the sensation by scooting closer to the wall. And the sensation that you're increasing is on the outside of this hip. If your knees are complaining, back off. One of my teachers, one of my first asana, my first posture teachers used to say you can mess with the gods, but you can't mess with your knees. You might notice I have this foot kind of active. That's also just giving this knee a little bit of love. So always with that question with yin, how far can I go and where can I stay? What sensation can you stay with? My folks in the QUINK world, especially if you bottom, this is a great question to ask, isn't it? Where can I stay? More breaths here. So you can start to ease on out of this. If you are by a wall and you've brought yourself close to the wall, you can push yourself back a little bit. So here we are back in constructive rest. And taking the other side. So there's your other ankle, there's the hole, there's the arm, thread it through. Can you grab this other leg? Great. If not, you don't have to. If, like me, you'd rather be super yin about this, find yourself a surface, scoot to the surface. When I used to weigh a lot more than I do right now, and I had a lot of flesh getting in the way here. Tiffany, hello. Tiffany Crow here on the TikTok is great for variations. And what I would offer is you just I was just moving my flesh and then doing what I could. And we'll get more into detail, I will, for you in the future. This is Norman. Hi, honey. How you doing, buddy? So breathing here, and again, where can you stay? Feeling for that sensation in the outer hip, moving away from pain, especially in your knees in this shape. So you can ease on out of this and make your way onto your back. For a little bit of a twist. So take another big, long stretch. Bring a knee in and over. The more your head goes in the opposite direction, the more torque on your upper back and neck. Personally, I like a little bit more gentle moment. Come on through center. And then over to the other side. If you have something like a warm layer, I would encourage you to grab it, especially if it's a blanket. This is going to be a cooling final rest, and I don't want you to get too cold. Come on back into center. And this is your final rest. So extending your legs. Come on, lie down on your back. Oh look, if you have a pillow, you can just lie on the pillow. I'm going to turn out lights so that I can play some music for you. So you're just lying down, super chill. Take a couple breaths in through your nose and out of your mouth. Inhale and exhale. And one more, breathing in and out. And then just letting your breath be. a little bit of sound here for you. I hope you're feeling okay now. So as you're lying down, you can roll to your side. Let's take a couple of breaths on your side. Press yourself up to a seat. Breath in through your nose and out of your mouth. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Please reach out if you have questions. Reconsider that long run you were about to go on after this, because all that stretching might be better after your long run. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye. Yeah. Still closing meetings. Hello, Tiki Tech.